Hey guys, how's it going? Ryan Potter with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate, doing another session for you guys. First of all, happy Easter. I'm looking forward to this weekend, spending it with my family and going to church and doing all that fun stuff and finding Easter eggs and all those things. Hey, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is what to expect from a buyer after purchasing a house, or kind of from beginning to end, what that system kind of looks like and what those steps are. And so I wanted to kind of break down those steps for you and discuss what that looks like. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and you've all heard it, but it's basically getting pre-approved. So the first step is going to actually be, let's get pre-approved. Let's get you set up financially so you know what your price range is and where to go from there, and then we can do that. And so that's going to be the first thing that we want to do is find out where we stand, find out if there's anything we need to get paid down, what your credit score is, all that good stuff. So that is actually the first step. I won't take anybody out to look at houses until they've actually been pre-approved. Most agents won't even look at a contract until they have a pre-approval letter. So that's the first step in starting that process as a buyer. The second step then is, once we get that established and that ball rolling, we want to schedule a meeting with me. And what we do with that is we will sit down probably for about 30 minutes to an hour, grab some coffee, some lunch, whatever, and just kind of get to know one another, find out if it's a right fit for us. And if it is, what the steps are moving forward there. What I will usually get from you is phone numbers, emails, addresses, and then I will actually get you plugged into a live search. And what that does is it gets you into MLS, and we narrow down kind of the location that you want to be, what you're looking for, if that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, all those things, and then we plug it into MLS. And then what it does is it notifies you whenever there's a property that comes onto the market with that criteria in mind. And so then if you get that notification and you like it, you notify me. And then that moves us on to the third step, which is we go and show the house, and we go and look at it. And if you are in love with it, so I want to stop right there. I say in love with it because I tell my buyers right now in this market, it's crazy. And so what I want to do is save time. I don't want you to go into a house, and even though there's a low inventory, to feel like you have to get into this house and you have to right now. If you are in love with the house, yes, of course, that's what we want to do, and we want to ride on it, and we want to get you that house. But if you're going back and forth and you're questioning things and you're kind of like, I don't know, I could see myself living here or not, I usually tell my buyers it's not the right house for you. You'll know when you walk in, you'll love it. And that's what we want to do. We want you to walk in, we want you to be in love with it. And then once we get to that point, there's going to be no regrets. You're going to move in, you're going to be excited, you're going to be happy. If it was one of those houses where you're like, I don't know, there's just this and there's that, you're going to regret it, and we don't want that. So be in love with the house. And so that's what I tell my buyers. I'm like, listen, I will go show you 3, 4, 5 houses if it takes 15 houses until you fall in love with the one. That's what we want. Typically I don't like to go over 15 because it's a lot of time running around setting appointments and things like that, but I also understand with the low inventory sometimes it takes about 15. But again, you'll see pictures, and you'll kind of have an idea of what that looks like after we get into a couple houses. So then once we'll write on the house, and then where do we go from there? A lot of people, okay, great, we got the contract done, we got it accepted, now what? And so then that moves us on to the fifth step, which is earnest deposits. So typically how earnest deposits work, a lot of people have questions about this. My rule of thumb is this: for every $100,000, you're going to write an earnest deposit check of $1,000. So if your house is $150,000, you're going to write an earnest check for $1,000. If it's $200,000, you're going to write an earnest deposit check of $2,000. Sorry. So if you're in that range of $200,000 to $299,000, typically you're going to be writing anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 earnest check. $300,000 to $399,000, it's going to be $3,000 to $3,500 earnest deposit check. So hopefully that clears that question up a lot, because I get that. But now that you've got a better understanding of the earnest deposit check. And when does that take place? I like to have it when we write the contract. But if we are going to wait until the contract gets accepted, for instance, like a multiple offer situation, typically what I'll do is I will wait 24 hours until we've actually had an accepted contract, and we write that in the contract, and then I go get that check from you, or you drop it off at the office, and we go that route. So there are some options there. The sixth step then is, after we've got the accepted contract and the earnest deposit turned in, we have an inspection done. And so we set up the inspection 7 to 10 days after having an accepted contract, and an inspector will come. He'll do the inspection. Usually takes about 3 or 4 hours. We meet the inspector at the end of that inspection. He'll walk us through everything that he found on the property and with the house, and if there's any concerns or things like that. And then what we do is we write up an inspection addendum resolution that we present to the sellers, and asking them to fix certain things. A question that I get asked a lot from buyers is, well, what do we ask for when it comes to that? And typically what I say is anything that's usually marginal or safety are the things that we want to ask for. So on the inspection report, you'll see things that are marginal, defective, safety, those types of things. Those are going to be the things that we possibly want to ask for. You're not going to ask for all those things, because chances are the seller's not going to fix every single thing that comes back on that inspection. But we want to make sure that we get the major things out of the way. And so that's typically what I'll advise my clients to do. Every inspection is different. So there's not 1 or 2 or 3, 4 specific things that we typically ask for. It's individualized, and so I walk you through that, educate you a little bit, and let you know what my thoughts and my opinions are, and my knowledge are on those things. So that's what we do there. The 7th thing is the appraisal. So the appraisal will come in, and the bank will order that. So whoever your lender is, they will actually order the appraisal, and I usually wait until after the inspection is done to have that done, for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I don't want the bank to order the appraisal before the inspection's done, because what if something comes back major on the inspection and we want to walk away from the property? If we've already paid for that appraisal, now you're out that money, and that's usually about $650. So it's a lot of money to be out, and so that's the first reason. The second reason is we want you to save that money. So we don't want you to spend any money or lose any money if we can help it. And so typically with the inspection, which is kind of nice, we write the contingency in the contract. So if there is anything major that you want to walk away from, we get your earnest deposit back, and then we've saved you money on the appraisal, because we haven't paid for that yet. So we wait until everything's good on the inspection resolution addendum. The sellers and the buyers have signed off on that and agreed to terms as far as what's getting repaired. And then I contact the lender, and I let them know what we're going to do moving forward on that. So that's usually the steps there. The 8th step then is, after the appraisal is ordered, we get that back from the lender, and the lender tells us, hey, we're good to go. Appraisal came back at purchase price or above purchase price, and we're ready to close. And so then that's good news. We move forward on that. If for some reason the appraisal comes back lower than what we've agreed on, we go back to negotiation stages with the sellers, and we talk to them about what they want to do. In most cases, things that I've seen, they're usually right under what the purchase price is, maybe a couple hundred thousand. Not a couple hundred thousand, a couple thousand. And typically what the seller will do is they'll drop the purchase price down to whatever that appraisal price came in at. There are some circumstances where the appraiser didn't factor in the upgrades and maybe some of the new comps that had just came on the market. And so we send out a second appraiser. We send that appraiser back out to see if he can adjust back up to the price that we've agreed to. And in most cases, it's done like that. There's very few cases where you actually get an appraisal that comes back way low, and you have to relist the property and the buyers walk away and all that sorts of stuff. So don't be too concerned about that. It does happen, so I do like to let you know that, but it's not something, especially right now in our market and things going on. We have some pretty good appraisers here, so it's usually not an issue. And then the last thing, step 9, is you move in. And one thing I like to add, one thing that I do for my buyers and my clients now moving forward is I've started doing a pizza party. That's right, a pizza party. So what happens is on move-in day or moving day, whatever the decision is there, whatever day that is that you're moving, sometimes it's not even the closing day, but what I like to do is I like to order some pizza, get some soda, and I like to have you guys come together with me, and I drop off some pizzas, take a break from moving and the truck and everything like that, and we kind of celebrate everything going on, and then we close. Hopefully that next day or the next couple of days, and we celebrate there as well. And I bring you a sweet little closing gift as well. But all in all, hopefully that clears things up as far as what those steps are if you're a buyer and what that looks like throughout the entire transaction. Yes, there are more details and things, but that is my job to walk you through that, to educate you through that, and that is what I love to do. And again, I like to have this process be fun. So if you are someone out there and you're wondering or you're thinking about this process, or you've been in an experience before where it's been super frustrating or stressful, hopefully by going with me, you will experience something completely different. I like to keep things fun, but I also like to educate you on the transactions and the things taking place throughout the process, so you at least have an idea of what's going on, and then next time have a better understanding of how that process works. So that's what I love to do. Thank you for this time, you guys. This is Realtor Potter with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate. I also represent Ram Construction, so if you're interested in building, contact me with questions there as well. And my last question for all of you is, are you in the hands of the Potter? I sure hope you are, because you will have a great, fun experience with me and you'll be educated along the way. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Questions, comments, anything like that, please comment below. I will do my best to get back to you, and I look forward to hearing from you guys again. Hope you have been educated and trained and are excited about possibly moving in the near future. Thanks, guys. Love you. Take care.